Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Silver and Black Experience with your host, Rafael Chacin, as known as El Capitán Rafucho. So, we got to talking about the Raiders right here before the week one against Chargers, which I mean the Bolts. So, this is a show.
Brrrs.
There you go, right here. So this is a show with no drama, no bullshit, no filter. Just just enjoy the show, grab a drink, and of course hanging out with the Silver and Black experience. So right now I have a special guest right here, so we can talk about the week one before this regular season right here, and of course some things that you never are talking about it. So my special guest is right here, Nutty Nate. So what's up, Nutty Nate? He's from the Just Win Baby podcast with Raider Band and of course Jack Powers. So how's it going? Salute to everybody.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, Rafa, for having me. Everybody, Raider Nation, good to see everybody. I'm here on a Wednesday special appearance. Rafa, you have a lot of good stuff going on over here, bro. I like your setup. It's real nice.
Yes, it is. So right now we're talking about Darren Waller extension contract on the way. Because right now it is ready to play on Sunday. Because someone wondering he's running holding it like a negotiating ploy for a contract extension, but Waller says the hamstring injury was real. And right now, what I just saw today about the tight end Dawson Knox for the Buffalo Bills had a great extension for 4 years with a U.S. amount of $200 million. So whatever it takes about it, so it could be like possible to get a contract extension from Darren Waller right here. So it just seems like he's ready to play the week one, not familiar with like, the contract situation, but has overcome for the situation about because he missed the majority of training camp due to like a hamstring injury. But there's also this matter of the new contract that's come to despite for the Raiders showing like Anderson Wells. So he will be back for the hamstring injury and he's afraid about the contract decision. But to see like a lot of money cap space right here for the Raiders right here because they just cut players like Brandon Parker, Alice Leatherwood. So they had enough well that that cap space right here to the money, but they're gonna use for the possible contract extension of Darren Waller. So right now, so not in a so any thoughts about the possible contract extension of Darren Waller and what's going on for the money cap space for the Raiders for that season right here?
I'm not worried. He if he was worried, he made the change he needed to make with changing his agents and all that. So he wants to play this year. I believe it. Before the agent switch up, I was kind of worried because that agency Clutch was known for their BS kind of behind the door, backstage theatrics and all that good stuff. But I think he made the right choice, and he wants to be about football, and he wants to be here. So I have a good feeling they're going to get something done and something fair for him, and there's talks behind the door, and it's all being done. And he's ready to go. You see him at practice. He's out there running routes, and he's going to be our red zone threat for surely. So it's big plans for D Wall. So I'm not too worried about this contract, but I like to get it done sooner than later for sure. Yeah. So we just talk about football, but it's part of the business, and they need
Yeah,
something to run with.
that's
Yeah.
yeah, it's part of the business because has 2 seasons remaining on this contract that is sent to earn 7 million this season with a base salary at 6.25 million. So he currently ranks at 17 in average salary among tight ends on the pay compare for this production right here. But there was just like holding injury can to get it in for a new contract. But what he was saying he's really tough because there is a lot of process mentality right here and that communication has representations for the representation and they're always cool about that and he takes time like a little longer than expected but he trusts about Deb Ziegler and Josh McDaniels about the new regime but with Wally healthy that Sunday against the Chargers will be like the first real look at the revamped Raiders under offense Josh McDaniels. So we're not too worried about the extension contract. We need to see Darren Waller's getting a lot of power, getting a lot of stardom, and of course, when when he's healthy right here, they're gonna see like a new look for the Raiders. So, any thoughts about of Darren Waller's power and intensity over the last season, and of course, what should it bring about the surprise about the tight end Darren Waller because he's been good over the last case right here. He got the mentally that nobody does.
No doubt there was something bothering him last year, which is why he switched up his agent to Clutch in the first place. Something was rubbing him the wrong way. I'm not gonna speculate, but I I'll say it. Forget it. I'm gonna say him and Gruden. I'm gonna say something rubbed him wrong with Gruden, and he got that new Clutch agent, and he was thinking about leaving. I think, in my opinion, he wasn't very happy with Gruden, and something was bugging him. And so those injuries popped up, and this and that, salt and Merrick.
Yes, we got a lot of comments right here. We got Nate, TKO, Salute Raf, and of course we got Auntie Seat Soldier. What's up, guys? I'm Karen while you're working out. Well, yeah, you had to be careful about Auntie Seat Soldier because right now when he hit it to the gym right here, he's gonna be kick you out because he's gonna bring the thunder right here because I know Auntie Seat Soldier because he's one of my Raider brothers and do not mess with him. Do not mess
Oh,
with him.
oh,
Also, I
he's
saw you,
military. Yeah.
Sultan Mayor. Salute to everybody else. And of course, I would love to see, well, Darren Waller's getting share right here because I love to see the power right here. If you look at the stats right here, he's going to blow this mic. So the next topic is going to be Raiders versus Chargers as knows to Bolts in week one. So right now, there's a lot of key between us. The Raiders got offensive line. We had a stiff test. That's coming out of the gate. Right now, with the new duo of Chargers, which is Kelly Mack and Joey Bosa, but also for the Raiders, for Matt Crosby and, of course, Jandro Jones. The right tackle position, it seems like Jermaine Illuminor, because after the cut of Alice Leatherwood, it seems that there's no starter right tackle position, but they had to put Jeremy Illuminor, which is totally be sleeping because all the favoritism about Brandon Parker, Alice Leatherwood, but people are really sleeping a choice of Jermaine Illuminor. So it's gonna set the line right here. And Colton Miller as left tackle with like a perfect test, but he's coming up for a stellar year and is looking for a great offseason right here. But the rest of the offensive staff, we'll obviously see their terms of progression against this tough pass rush because those both teams had to stop the combination of Mac and Bosa. So that way, like, Searly had this young defensive line can handle about it, but the offensive line should dominate it about the running game. That's what it is to see the weakness about it. So if you look at the Chargers' weakness right here, is the offensive line against the running game. So they already had to face that issue because protecting Derek Carr, there's keeping us alive. It's gonna be the big win for the week one, especially there's so many weapons to exploit for the Chargers defense with. And if we're talking about the passing game versus the secondary, because I just saw the other news right here with Jackson, with Jesse Jackson ability up to the air because it's not gonna be available for the week one. So that's gonna be like a great opportunity because with Jesse Jackson the jury, that will be Devontae Adams' time. That will be the scary hours. And every situation right here because people and of course almost for these teams right here, they should aware about it because the Raiders are gonna bring the scary hours of Derek Carr and of course Devontae Adams because they know about it. Because they will see 101. And for the Chargers to win, they were like a mission to fix the defense, addressing like all three levels. But he was just like an injury. But it will be like the coach defense, and of course the weapons have a dangerous run game were difficult to stop. But if but with Jesse Jackson out, that'll be like perfect. That'll be like an enormous stat to well to be the defensive line for the Chargers. So right now, 98. So any thoughts about the game one, which is the Raiders versus Chargers as nose to balls. So what do you about What could you expect about the offensive line and, of course, Devontae Adams and the injury of J.C. Jackson?
I think in order for us to be successful for this game, we have to control the clock. And I've been preaching it since the summertime, since the schedule came out. I've been saying we need this preseasons to get our offense gelled together and to get our O line to get some kind of camaraderie going into the regular season, so we can just go in there and steamroll this defense that the Chargers put together. And with the running game, we could easily do that. It's changed. It's changed a lot since we first did the opening season schedule stuff and all that. But it's injuries. We got rid of Leatherwood. It's trades. All kinds of stuff's happened. So it's a new look offensive line. It's on the whole right side, pretty much. I mean, Illuminor deserves a chance. I think he showed me he had something last year. For whatever reason, his play style conflicted with Tom Cable and his hard-headed ass, and it just wasn't working. Which is what happened with Lester Cotton as well. And you see Lester, both of these guys now have a starting position in this offensive scheme, and so that has more to say about Tom Cable, in my opinion. But so these guys are good. These guys are good. These guys are dogs, and I've seen tape on both these guys, and I mean they're not all league, all pro, all world players, but they're serviceable and they're dogs. And we need their Raiders. That's the most important part. As far as the game, it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a tight game. We got to control the clock. We got to control the ball. And with this new injury with J.C. Jackson out, it opens things up for us for sure. You could go ahead and bracket Devontae Adams. We still beat you guys last year with Hunter Renfrow and Darren. We didn't even have Darren Waller, so I mean he was in there hobbled on one leg. So we beat you guys with Renfrow last year. So I mean, and you got to deal with Adams now too, and healthy Jacobs and a full revamped offensive line. I think the Chargers are in for it, and we're about to wake up the NFL in a couple of days, so I'm excited.
Yeah, that's exactly because there are so many fans who are really excited about the new offensive line, and of course the scary hours between Matt Crosby and Chandler Jones, and of course Eric Hart and Devontae Adams. But with an injury of J.T. Jackson, I was saying, right, wow, can we stop with about that? Because right now we just see 1-on-1 between Devontae Adams versus J.C. Jackson. But with Jackson out, that'll be like the perfect tool to see the weakness of the Chargers right here. So we can see like the offensive line it seems like well too close. But right now it seems like the perfect opportunity to see the new renovated defense line. And of course, we just saw Jermaine Lenore and of course the practice camps, the training camps I'd see. And of course, there's a lot of things that we can talk about because they just went for like a mission that we never forget it. And of course, we can never forget Nate Hobbs versus Keenan Allen. But right now, there's very shifty and the creative right to run it because Allen and Justin Herbert had the chemistry together, but they're still like in the many targets right here about this weekend. So Nate Hobbs should welcome to the challenge and show that his rookie year was not a fluke, but he looks to build about the possibility to be a Pro Bowl caliber even the year two. And Hobbs is really young because of the second season. But I think that Marcus Allen should be able to make plays against, but how many? I don't know. There's like 1,000 everybody else. But as we saw over the last season right here, Hobbs plays with a chip on his shoulder. It is not scared to play bumper to run it alone and take another test or shatter him in the span. Allen is going to take one of those moments. But if Hobbs can limit the damage right here, he has more than done to help his team with the one star to start the campaign, which is unbelievable. And right now, the important X factor for Las Vegas Raiders during the 2022 is going to be the online to the pass protection. They had the most lethal receiving trio of Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, and Darren Waller. But if Derek Carr will be participate because there's no time to find the receivers. Because it's not a secret at this point because they had the success of the defensive, hence how well the offensive performs. it is that are like sure of X Factor in the week one, because the last time they just played in Los Angeles at the week four at the 2021, Carl was sacked four times with a loss of 31 yards. And they shut down for 3 or 4 quarters of defensive simply ground to halt in the particular drill for the first half. That means the defensive line has held down on the Sunday, which at least the point where Ricard would get the ball quickly as the target. And here, Birch, 2.5 seconds in the pocket between the snap throwing the ball to the receivers. It has a lot of track of the record on this side. It really like the offensive and the cards with the time for the play to develop. And of course, there's another take, which is the defensive and the takeaways. So it like the difficult to shut down to any offense of the UFC ways, but it doesn't mean that they cannot force the ball over the opponent's hands. They just paired their emerging star, which is Matt Crosby and Chandler Jones. They're like a dual pass rushing attack because look at those guys. Look at these guys right here, which is Matt Crosby and Chandler Jones. They are perfect dynamite. And the last season, they just ranked 29 at the defensive takeaways. That's just for 5-15 of the season. And the quarterback pressures and the side will give Carr the defensive more like the opportunities, but they give like better field positions that we're going late to winning games. It's hard to imagine like, without the defense is shutting down just Herbert on Sunday. But if they gain the ball in their hands to wander at Las Vegas, because last year, the season finale, they just picked Herbert once through the air and brought him down 3 times for the total loss of 28 yards. But if if the Raiders cannot more deception or fumble, the upgraded offense should be able to capitalize on the moment's notice. So, Nutty, I just wanted to tell you about perspectives about the X factor of the Raiders, and of course the offensive line, and of course the combination between Matt Crosby and Chandler Jones.
The defense. You're talking about the defense.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I think we'll be okay. That middle of the defense does kind of concern me. It's a question mark. I'm not too worried about it because we have some capable guys that are in there. Some big bodies to keep our linebackers clean, and that's what really counts. We don't really need a lot of stats right there. We just need big bodies that won't get pushed around. And so I'm okay. I'm okay with the D line. And I have all the faith in the world in this DB room. They're really talented. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure Meek Robinson shut down Mike Williams last year, and Meek Robinson is our fifth DB on this roster. So that shows how much we've improved over there on that side, including another year with Morig, with more experience in a full off season, and Abrams keeps getting better and hopefully keeps getting wiser and making smarter plays, and they're going to put him around the box. He's going to be an animal. I expect Abram to have a big year. Ever since we got Graham, I've kind of felt that way. This defense is going to show a lot of disguises, and they're gonna do a lot more blitzing and stunts and stuff like that. And it's exciting time to be a Raider fan. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and of course the Red Sun never lies about it. And let's just move it about the next topic right here. So right now, the veteran linebacker Jim Collins is on a free agent visit. So it will be a pair like the Raiders linebacker room is set for the start of the season, but it seems that they still might be looking about to bulk up the unit because today they just host the former Patriots linebacker Jimmy Collins for a free agent. And right now, just like the basic, they may not like seeing it because right now that's just like the basic and may not lead to sign it because they just start because Jimmy Collins is to start 4 games in 12 appearances last season for the Patriots and Lions, and he was making the Pro Bowl in 2015, but he has bounced around the league a little bit. So he spent 2.5 seasons with the Browns. They returned for the Patriots for a season. They got to Detroit for a game for signing with the Patriots. For the credit right here for Jimmy Collins, it was just like he pulled up 100 combined tackles in 14 games with the Lions for the age of 31. But if they can show about the coaching step, mostly for the former Patriot coaches, They got still a definite hand that could be like room for him for Las Vegas, because right now because our biggest I don't understand what the biggest concern right here, because one of the littlest concern about the linebacker and of course the right tackle. But it seems like, well, this is like the perfect opportunity to sign him, Jimmy Collins, after the visit, because I don't know, there are some free agents who had to go because we had to deal about what's going on for the linebacker. So Nate, any thoughts about Jimmy Collins, about the visit right here? So if they had an opportunity to sign him, or they're gonna put on another team about Jimmy Collins.
Yeah, so I've heard that after the season starts, there's for all these free agents, there's no guaranteed money guaranteed anymore. So something happens with the contracts, so the wording's kind of different after the season starts. So I expect the Raiders to pick up a few more guys after this next week, and especially when they see what they got with the positions that they might be questioning. But I think we're rolling with what we have, and Jamie Collins, I think he'd be a good addition. I'd like to see him over here in silver and black. He plays hard, he hustles. I don't know. He's been kind of quiet. I don't know if he's dealing with some injury or something. So I'll take a pass on that if they really feel like he's not ready. But um, yeah, I expect the Raiders to pick up some more guys. So I'm ready for all that,
Yeah,
and I'm okay with that.
and of course that because, well, uh, Jimmy Collins had a familiar with the Patriots, and of course with the coach Josh McDaniels, and of course because they would like see their remaining on signing free agents, but it won't make sense about it. But it's just me that because there is like the familiar decisions, because he's a veteran linebacker, and he was just like a backup. He was playing for 10 games with 2 stars with the team that took off for like in 2013, second round. He performed, had much productive about the past in 2019, where he notched 7 sacks and 3 fumble forces and 3 interceptions. What up the back assists? So I think that while they had a lot of changes to the linebacker the offseason, they signed in Corey Littleton, Nick Cody as a position first. Also did not resign KJ Wright, also Nick Morrow, then Denzel Perryman was in place. But I just feel like because I would love to see more of him about it, because he had that power. And of course he had a lot of familiar faces of the Patriots. But it seems that, well, they just has released Color Fackrell with injury segment, and of course, all of the addition with Jordan Jenkins on injury reserve. So I would say because it's not like the biggest concern, but also they're just like a little. But I would love to see it of Jimmy Collins signing with the Raiders right here, because they not only they had some familiar faces, because he had that power that nobody does. I mean, if you look at the stats right here, I just figured it out that wow, that guy is a monster right here. I and
He,
that
he
line,
he's around the ball a lot for sure. Yeah,
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 yeah, it is, because it will make sense at all, because that will be like wow, like it'll
yeah.
be incredible. And of course, so we decided on the next tab right here. So we got Keenan Cole and Alice Bars just resigned. So right now they're pretty happy about the roster they had to put this together like the off season, that because there was like a lot of chatter right here. But even though the wide receiver Keelan Cole was expected to make the active roster during the past success, they ended up letting go for the paddle roster. But however, they still like to keep him bring for the team, because Las Vegas Raiders here announced they had the same call to the practice squad. And they have additionally, because they just released Zach Brandenburg for the practice squad, they just placed the offensive line Vitaly Gordman on the injury list. So getting called to the practice squad is just like a really good move, because think about it. Tyron Johnson and DJ Turner made the active roster, but they still like improved commodities. If they had to struggle right there, they would be able to replace one of them, the veteran like Cole. He had like over 400 receiving yards in 45 seasons, including 700 as a rookie. He is capable to see like a solid number 5 wide receiver if the Raiders need to be. But also, he just signed Carlos Bars, because one of the tickets points about the Raiders over the offseason that's around the offensive line. Outside with the left tackle, which is Colton Miller, there's no proven stars at the group right here because that fact that has done little to address the offensive line. That means that there's a lot of confidence right here. And the depth chart was a little thin that about the team is already caring about aiding at the active roster, which is they had a brother back player who has to wait for the training camp. That's weird, incredible. Because along with the sign of Keenan Cole, they announced they had the same for the Dallas Bars for the practice squad. Because he spent for the first 3 seasons with the Chicago Bears before signing for the Las Vegas offseason. He played 38 games, starting 11 of them. He got enough experience to wear the Raiders he can play if necessary, but the rookie Damon Parr is the only backup guard on the roster. But it might be don't be surprised if Mars get eliminated for the active roster could wide forfeit their offensive depth chart because headed to the week one, they're in like 80 million roster battlefield already resolved. Because if they release the first depth chart against the Chargers, there'll be like huge surprises there are a number of decisions right here. So 98. So any thoughts about the re-signing of Keenan Cole and Alice Barnes for the Raiders?
I wasn't too impressed with Bars. I pay attention to the trenches a lot. SC, what's up, brother? I pay attention in the trenches a lot. That's kind of my gig up there. Uh, he's versatile. I'll give him that. He'll put his nose in the ground and he'll get in there. But I didn't see a whole lot of movement and a lot of positive stuff that I'd like to see in the guy coming off the bench that you're hoping to give you guys a break. But he's okay. He's got some size. I'm not gonna. It might work out. I'd rather see Meredith, the kid who's on the practice squad already. I'd rather see him elevated because he showed a lot, and he played against the worst competition, whatever you could say. But I think the young kids deserve a chance. I'd rather see Bam out there. I'd rather see them bring in Bam, but Bam's gone. I don't know what's going to happen with that. And Keenan Cole, Keenan Cole was my favorite player. As soon as we got him, I was for sure thinking it's going to be Devontae Adams, Keenan Cole, Hunter Renfrow in the slot, Waller, and then they got their plethora of tight ends. And I thought that's how it was going to work out, and that shocked everybody. I'm pretty sure when we cut him. But he's a true vet. He's a competitor. He's going to go up and snatch the ball, and he knows how to run routes. He's a crisp guy all around. So I think that I think that's good depth. That's a good depth piece we got on our practice squad. So I'm happy. I'm happy with what Ziegler and McDaniel's got going on, and it's very impressive compared to what we've been used to these past few years with the old regime.
And of course, he got a lot of experience with here because he was playing for the college Kentucky Westland. And that right here, because that man right here, he got a lot of to prove right here because, well, he was playing for anything else. And I would love to see like a lot of productivity of Killen Cole, which is which is very important to see right there because he's at this point right here because he was playing for the Jaguars and then for the New York Jets. I think that that wide receiver is what we expect for. But of course, with the signing of Demonte Adams right here because he was signed as a drafting free agent when it comes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. But he was just resigned for the practice squad right here. So I think that, well, if you look at the sea of the best's career right here with the Jacksonville Jaguars, we had, well, his best season right here is 2017, which is he had the best receiving yards with 7,100, and of course the average with 17.8. I think that, well, his career is never lie, but of course we did see because that's the biggest addition. Because, well, he would just because last season he just signed, well, he just signed 1 year for the middle contract with the New York Jets. It didn't happen about it, so it just cut him off and to see, well, he signed for the free agent, but he was just like released, and then 1 week later they just had to resign Killing Cole, which is totally amazing. But I think that, well, he's gonna be sleeping about it, but they had another talent right here because if they look at the Raiders right here, there is like see they're looking at the talent right here. They're looking at the talent. the young, brave talent, and of course those veterans are looking for. And I will say that he has a lot of experience as a returner. He scored like a 91-yard touchdown in 2020. And he was playing at all because he had a lot of intensity, not only with the Jacksonville Jaguars, because over the 4 seasons that he played for the Jacksonville Jaguars, he had a lot of intensity. And he has a like 118 catches for more than 2,000 yards and 13 touchdowns over these 5 seasons. I think that's pretty enough to see like a youngest talent to prove it to see for the Raiders right here. So, in my point right here, he's gonna be beat him up, and Killen Cole is proved to be like one of the best over here because if they look at it, see the young talent right here, like Keelan Cole, boy, they never forget about it because the full room is gonna be stacked. The full room is gonna be stacked for anybody else. And I will tell you, if they bring young talent right here, that's a good deal. That's a good deal for about it. So I just wanted to to finish right here because we're about to because we are just left on for like 8 minutes right here. So we're just talking about the final predictions between the Raiders versus Los Angeles Chargers, which is well, they're definitely like the Bulls. So my prediction is gonna be like Las Vegas Raiders is gonna win 36 against Los Angeles Chargers is gonna be 28. So my prediction is gonna be Raiders 36, Chargers 26. So do you have any predictions about that game?
31-13 Raiders.
Yep. Yeah, that's where I like it because I know that to see because if you look at it to see the offensive line for the Raiders, who's gonna beat us? I mean, no one. Because they've had a full stack of Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, and of course Matt Crosby, Chandler Jones. Who's gonna stop us? Nobody. Because they had a little bold positions right here. Even those fans are still criticize us because they don't have the top 10 defense right here. So look at us. Look at us, the Raiders right here. We got the biggest wide receiver with a huge contract. We have a great quarterback, which is Derek Carr, which is the most underrated quarterback ever in the history. Of course, we got Matt Crosby, Hunter Renfro, Darren Waller. See, people are still hating us, the Raiders, but be aware because we're going to the hunting season right here, and don't fuck with us because we're not gonna play in the rounds. So I just wanted to realize that well, week one is a habit of fans will love, but the success could be the offensive line. It's going to hinge because well, sometimes there are the question mark, but with the unit of left tackle Hunter Miller, left guard John Simpson, center Archer James, the right guard Lester Carter right here. If they had some point of this point right here, like the offensive line coach like Carmen Brasilia and coach Dutch McDaniels, there'll be like a lot of process and play for adequate level because the on-line to defensive was really great. They are full stack. And Joy Bosa and Colin Mag were bank right here, but those guys, Joy Bosa and Colin Mag, they're really scared about the offensive line of the Raiders because who never knows is gonna come in for the week one. So I feel like this is like the big chance or opportunity to be like success. And they're gonna be successful about it. And for me, that'll be great. That'll be great to see the Raiders full stack on the offensive line. And of course, there'll be a lot of things about it. So even the people can hate us because we are Raiders fans. So we don't have to worry about it because right now we're gonna beat the Chargers right here. And of course, all the people who doubt about us because we didn't have the top 10 defense right here because well all this stuff right here writing on all of the social media that we are not a top 10 wide receiver. We had a not top 10 defense right here. I mean, look at this. Because if you look at the training camps right here and the preseason right here, we have an undefeated 4-0. We just beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Miami Dolphins, the Minnesota Vikings, and even the New England Patriots. That's a good point to see there because nobody does it. And of course, guys, this is the moment that we're waiting for since 2002. We just lost against the Buccaneers before Tom Brady can sign in 2020. This is the perfect moment we can see a real bad version of the
Yep.
Raiders.
Yep.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time to see to revamp
It's
the
been a
defense
long
line, and of
time.
course, forget it about the nightmare of it's come for the last season, and of course, the 2020. But if you look at it, see at that season right here, we guarantee this is gonna be like a shocker, and people are loving this. People are loving this defense right here, and of course the offensive line and Derek Carr. That is still the most underrated quarterback, and people and those fans right here because we had the biggest fan in the whole world. We got fans for the United States, for the United Kingdom, Australia, Mexico, Guatemala, Ecuador, and some other countries from Europe and Germany. But I was saying this we can shock to everybody else because this is the moment that we're waiting for since 2002. It's been a long time. It's been a long time, been 20 years because the last time that we just won a Super Bowl, it was from the decade of the 80s. If you look at the 70s and the 80s with the coach John Mayer right here, oh boy, they guarantee you is going to be shocked to everybody else. And believe me, this 2020 season of the Las Vegas Raiders, they're going to shock to everybody else. Not because of the offensive line of the cars of Derek Carr, because they're going to put those eyes on Devontae Adams. Because who's going to stop Devontae Adams to wide receiver? No one. Even Ryan Rodgers is still crying about this time because he loses his best. He loses he lost his wide receiver right here, but imagine this. Derek Carr and Devontae Adams were partners in the college football. So that would be like a perfect matchup. And I really like that. So, in my final thoughts are about that, Las Vegas Raiders could have been making a shock season. And believe me,
It's no
they
shock
feel
to us. It's no shock to us. But yeah, the rest of the league's gonna be put on notice for sure. Yep.
right. All right. So before we leave right here at 98, any final thoughts about the show right here, Summer in Black Experience? So I know it's gonna be like the week one against Chargers, which means the Bolts. So I just want to say fuck them. So fuck the Chargers. So any final thoughts?
Yeah, fuck the chart. You said it all. You said it all, Rafa. Good shit, bro. Hey, anytime, let me know. Anytime we can do this. Yeah, I'm for it. I'm all about talking Raiders all season long. Let's go.
All season long. And of course, it's been another episode of Summer in the Black Experience with your host, Rafael Chacina, El Capitán Rafucho,
Rafa,
and along
Rafa.
with this and along with the special guest right here, Nate, straight off of the podcast of Just Win host with the
Shout
Raider
out,
Ben.
Raider Ben, Jack Bauer. Yeah.
Yes, and of course, this has been an extraordinary journey of Silver and Black Experience. So I hope to see you there on Friday with a special edition between the week one against Chargers. And I just wanted to say to all the Chargers fans, fuck them. And of course, have a good night. And of course, it's been another episode of Silver and Black Experience. And just like say all Davis, just win, baby.